Clements to whip up to the top of the starting hill. He's on his way up the hill now. He will start the first race of the day between Nicole Bailey, Kay Morton and Shelley Prince. It's the girls' 12 to 13 year race. We've got Councillor Clements on video now, so this will go back to Council. Right, now away and racing in the first event of the day. We've got a good start being made by Nicole Bailey on the inside. Kay Morton and Shelley Prince are in there also. It's Nicole Bailey over the jump into the first corner, followed by Shelley Prince on their approach to the new tabletop. Up in the tabletop, and it's all Nicole Bailey down into Bayside berm. Still Nicole Bailey. Shelley Prince making a move underneath Nicole Bailey. Can't quite pull it up over Crowell's Mountain down on their approach to the Lunar Lumps. So they come down over the Lunar Lumps. We've still got Nicole Bailey out in front, Shelley Prince in the second spot. Kay Morton's dropped off a little bit in third place. Down into the dip jump now, it's all Nicole Bailey, Shelley Prince making a bid down the outside. It's going to be a sprint to the finish line between these two riders. I think Nicole Bailey will prove strong enough. Shelley Prince in for the second and Kay Morton for the third.
Can you hold for a minute, because we're in Pro Cruise and they're up at the gate there and didn't know we're up so soon. Just hang on for a second.
You won't miss out. Right, all the riders are up there getting ready. All the blinkers are being put on. Heads to be held straight in the starter's hands. Right, now off and racing in race number 2. I can see a good start's been made by Aaron Spiteri now, and we've got number 108 who will be Adam Bailey. Adam Bailey slipped the pedal. It's got Dean Mitchell in there, or Aaron Spiteri still in front. We've got Bailey. Mitchell went a bit high on the berm as they come up across the tabletop. It's still Spiteri out in front, Bailey in second spot and Mitchell in third. Tailed in by the other young fella coming in there for first place. Up over the top of Crowell's Mountain, we've still got Spiteri out in front. Bailey's putting the proof down the back straight now as we come in Lunar Lumps. Bailey's taking the lead. We've got Bailey, Spiteri and Mitchell. Around now and down through the bottom corner there, down into the dip jump. It's going to be Bailey out in front. Spiteri's putting in some big ones now to try and come up on the inside of Bailey. As they come down, it's going to be a sprint to the finish line. We've got Bailey, Spiteri and Mitchell at this stage. So it's going to be Bailey across the line, Spiteri second, Mitchell in for the third, followed by 963 who will be... Right, they're away and racing. Got a good start being made by Gibson. I can see Malani in there, Flaherty also. So we've got 715 out in front, which is going to be Craig Gibson out there in front of Craig Maloney now is up in the second spot. So we've got Gibson in front of Maloney at this stage. Down in the Bayside berm, it's still Gibson, Maloney up over the top of Crowell's Mountain. We've got Gibson out in front. Good lead down in front there. Craig Maloney's trying to put in the pressure down over the Lunar Lumps. Now we've got Gibson in front. Maloney's pulled up to Gibson a little bit at this stage. Down in the dip jump, Gibson's having a spell as he comes down the dip jump. Got Gibson in front. Maloney, Flaherty's coming down the outside of the straight. Down to the finish line, it's going to be Gibson, Maloney and Flaherty in that order. This to me looks as though it might be the 7 class, is it? Right, the 7 class. We've got 1147 EB Tony Harvey out in front, followed by Troy Dixon. So we've got Harvey and Dixon in first and second spots at this stage. I can see young Mitten in there, I can see a Crow in there. So we've got Harvey out in front, Dixon in second place, Crow and Mitten. So as they come round Bayside corner now down into the across the top of Crowell's Mountain down to the Lunar Lumps, it's still Harvey out in front. Dixon's putting in some pressure around the back straight now as we come down. So around the sweeper, it's going to be Harvey out in front. Dixon trying to make a move up on the inside. We've got Harvey out in front still. Dixon on the inside. Harvey and Dixon down to the finish line. It's going to be Harvey's going to come in and take the win off Troy Dixon, followed in by young Crowell, and it'll be Brendan Mitten in for the 4th place. The field. There's a chat to the people behind him. Right, I think we're almost ready. Right, 8 class in the starter's hands. Starting gate drops now away and racing. Got a good start being made by Aaron Salisbury there. I can see Jed Pinkney in their side. Pinkney and Salisbury to the first corner. 567 will be young Anthony Muddlenich. So we've got Salisbury out in front, Pinkney in second place, Muddlenich in the third. So we've got Salisbury, Pinkney and Muddlenich as they come around the bottom Bayside corner up over the top of Crowell's Mountain. The Salisbury, Pinkney's catching up a little bit down the back straight down their approach to the Lunar Lumps. There's still Salisbury out in front, Pinkney in second spot, Muddlenich in the third. Around the sweeper down the dip jump is still Salisbury at this stage. Oh, he's going to have a rest. So we've got Salisbury out in front, Pinkney's coming down behind him now to catch up a little bit, and then we've got Muddlenich in the third place. Across to the finish line, it's going to be Salisbury, Pinkney and Muddlenich. Hands. Starting gate drops now away and racing there as they come down. I think I can see Bailey and Nelson out in front a little bit. They got broke away from the field a little bit there. We've got Nelson, Bailey in the first corner. So we've got Nelson in the first corner. Bailey's coming up underneath him now as they come up to the approach to the tabletop. I can see Colin there with Daglish. So around Bayside Burn, we've got Nelson, Bailey right on his back wheel at this stage. Up over the top of Crow's Mountain, we've got Nelson. Bailey's putting in the big ones now. He's going to pull up beside him across the lunar lumps. So we've got Nelson and Bailey around through the bottom corner now. Who'll come out in front as they come down through the dip jump. Nelson's still got a slight lead over Bailey. Not much in this race as they come down through the dip jump and across the two doubles. It's going to be a sprint to the finish line. I mean, Nelson will just prove that a little bit strong enough. He'll take it out first. Bailey second. Colin for the third place. And Hennessy and Glenn Rawson as they come down. I can see Chris, Rawson and there's one. Chris got the lead. Rawson's in the second spot. So we've got Chris up across to the tabletop. We've got Chris out in front. Rawson in second spot as they come down. I think it's Hennessy back there in third. So we've got Chris out in front. Rawson in second spot. Hennessy in third. And then Pat Dillon. So as they come down now across the lunar lumps, first time I've seen anyone go over like that. So we've got Chris out in front down into our dip jump now. So we've got Chris from Queensland out in front there, followed by Glenn Rawson. So it's going to be Chris take out the first place. Glenn Rawson in for the second. Hennessy for the third. Pat Dillon and Jason Richards, I think. From Jamie Hales. They come down now. We've got Hales out in front. Ross in second spot. Ross underneath Hales. Hales beside Ross as they come up to the tabletop. We've got Hales out in front. Time for a couple of tricks around in the Bayside Boom. We've still got Hales out in front. Ross on his back wheel. So they come down Crow Mountain up on the approach to the lunar lumps. We've still got Hales out in front. Oh, it does it beautifully. We've got Hales out in front, followed by Brett Ross down in the dip jump now. We've got Hales down in the dip jump. Ross in the second spot. Williams is having a spell. 9:49's given up altogether. So we've got Hales in for the first. Ross in for the second and Williams in for the third place. In the starter's hands here, Wayne racing on. Excellent start made by David Armstrong as he comes down on his approach to the first obstacle. We've got Armstrong out in front, followed by these other two riders. So we've got Armstrong's out in front at this stage, followed by the other young fellow there. It must be Gerard O'Brien. I can see Gerard O'Brien, Adam Lippens in there. So we've got David Armstrong out in front. He's spread-eagled the field at this stage and he's approached the lunar lumps. We've got David Armstrong and those socks. They've got to be seen to be believed. We've got David Armstrong out in front, Adam Lippens and Gerard O'Brien. So we've got young David Armstrong's going to come in for the first place. It'll be a battle for the second and third between 5.97 Gerard O'Brien, Adam Lippens. 5.97's Gerard O'Brien. Gerard O'Brien's got a slight advantage. O'Brien will come in for the second. Lippens in for the third place. I think we're on to the 11 class. We're starting to work the program out. We've got Mark McGeary, Trevor Harvey, Brad Dixon and Lee Salisbury. A good start being made by Salisbury down the outside. Not to be outdone is Brad Dixon on the inside. So we've got Dixon and Salisbury at this stage. Salisbury, Dixon. Up on their approach to the tabletop, we've still got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in second spot. Mark McGeary's in there also and Trevor Harvey. So they come down now over the top of Crow's Mountain. Down on their approach to the lunar lumps, it's still Salisbury out in front of Dixon across the lunar lumps. Show a little bit of style as he went across the lunar lumps down through the bottom corner into our dip jump at Salisbury out in front. Dixon, they've got, I think it's Harvey making a big move down the outside. Harvey's coming down the outside at 1,000,000 miles an hour. We're going to have Harvey's going to take out the win. Salisbury in for the second and Dixon in for the third. His hands there away and racing now. If we've got number 518 there, David Flaherty, he's whipping down the centre lane now. We've got 532, which is Leon Smith. So we've got Flaherty and Smith. We've got another rider there shot up underneath him, the guy on the Patterson. As he comes up across the tabletop, we've still got Flaherty out in front. I think Smith's dropped back a little bit at this stage. We'll get that other rider's number. It is Matthew Kenyon. So we've got Matthew Kenyon in second spot and we've got Flaherty out in first. So as they come down the into the spot and sweep, we've still got Flaherty out in front. Flaherty out in front over Kenyon. Flaherty and Kenyon down through the dip jump. We've got Flaherty's going to be far too strong. Kenyon in for the second spot and it'll be Leon Smith in for the third. When he gets ready. We'd like to thank Phil for coming and just making the day what it is. Right, so as usual, we're waiting for the over 26 class. We're in the starter's hands. Right, I can see Kevin Kelly and Chris Onion, so they've got a couple of super geriatrics in there also. So as we come down now, we've got Bevan Hansen, Smith and Paulie in front, Kevin Kelly in a safe fourth. Round the bottom corner, we've got Paulie out in front, followed by Phil Smith. Alan Paulie's in there also. So we've got Hansen, Smith and Paulie as they come down into Bayside corner across the tabletops. It's Hansen out in front, Smith in second place, Paulie in third, And we've got Kevin Kelly charging down the back straight across the top of the lunar lumps. It's still all hands at this stage. As they come down now at the bottom sweeper, still hands up. Smith's checking out the tyres as we come down. Alan Pauley's making a whip round on the outside, so it's going to be Hansa first, Pauley second, Phil Smith third, Kevin Kelly and Chris Anion. Away in racing as they come down. Craig Lucas got a beautiful start as he comes down there. I can see 1, 3, 4, 4 going like the wind. We've got Kelly going like the wind down the outside. We've got Lucas in front, Kelly on his back wheel now. So as you come, we've got Lucas in front, Kelly in second spot. Down through Bayside Corner, it's all Lucas at this stage. Kelly in there behind him. He's not to give in as he comes up over the top of Crow's Mountain. Down on the approach to Lunar Lumps, we've still got Lucas out in front, Kelly in second spot, and I'll get third place as they come round the bottom corner. So we've got Lucas out in front, 3:51 I think it is, yes. We've got Anthony Marr up there in the third spot, so it's going to go win to Lucas. Troy Kelly will be in for the second, and we'll have Anthony Marr in for the third, followed by Jason Barnard. Alrighty. Right, now away and racing in the 14 classes. We come down, we've got 4:31 there, young Derek Morton, he's out in front at this stage. So we've got Morton, Flaherty and Maloney. Morton out in front, Flaherty in second spot, Flaherty up underneath Morton, hasn't got the legs to do it, so we've got Morton out in front, Flaherty in second place, down in the Bayside berm. Up over the top of Crow's Mountain, we've still got Morton out in front, Flaherty in the second spot, Maloney back down the third. So we're going across the lunar lumps. We've got Morton's across the lump safely as he comes round now down into the bottom corner, down into the dip jump. We've got Morton out in front. The legs are going a million miles an hour as he comes up towards the finish line. It's going to be Morton in for the first, Flaherty and Maloney. Right, now away in racing, got a good start being made by Minion on the outside there. As we come down, I can see Gibson on the inside, Gibson, Minion and Plotzer. It's going to be Minion out in front now. We've got Minion out in front, Gibson in the second spot, Minion, Gibson across the top of the tabletop, down in the Bayside berm. It's all Minion at this stage. As he comes down now up over the top of the tabletop, we've still got Minion out in front. Hello, Gibson's done the whole show, and we've got Minion still out in front. We've got Plotzer in the second spot, so Minion's decided to have a spell. Plotzer's still putting in the big ones to catch him up, but I think Brett Minion's going to be too strong. He'll hold out David Plotzer, and Craig Gibson will be limping in for the third place. Spur and Vaughan Richards, I think, at this stage. Well, we've got two. We've got Pauline Williams and we've got Brendan Spur. So we've got Pauline Williams and Spur. Pauline and Spur. Spur's a little bit stronger down the front straight. Williams up underneath him at this stage. They come up across the tabletop. We've still got Spur out in front, Williams in second place. Around through Bayside, down across the top of Crow's Mountain on the approach to the Lunar Lumps. We've still got Brendan Spur. I think these are our South Australian competitors too, a lot of these kids. I'll try and get through that as we get onto the program. And we've got Spur out in front, followed by Williams.
On your little Willie.
And a special commentary from Mr. Phil Smith.
Expert comments.
His expert comments. And Ray Grimer. So we've got Williams out in front, followed by 159, or Jason Richards is in front now. So we've got Richards out in front, Withers in the second spot, Grimer charging like the madman, possessed down the back of the field. Down in the Bayside corner on the approach to Crow's Mountain, Richards, Withers and Grimer. Down now across the top of the lunar lumps, we're going to oh, yes, very nicely done. Everybody executed the lunar lumps. As we come down now, round the bottom sweeper, down into the dip jump, we've still got Richards out in front, Withers and Grimer. So it's going to be Richards in for the first, Grimer in for the second, or the third rather, and Glenn Withers in for the third.
Oh, it's Ryan with Joseph Richards.
And Grant Williams. They come down a starting gate as a wheel and one. I can see Crisp out in front, Crisp across the top of the first obstacle down in the corner. Yes, they're all around the corner. So we've got Crisp and Hales out in the first two placings. Across the tabletop, down through Bayside Burn, we've got Crisp out in front, Hales on his back wheel, toss the top of Crow's Mountain down to the lunar lumps. We've still got Crisp out in front. I love the way he does that. We've got Crisp out in front, Hales in the second spot, down through the bottom sweeper, down into the dip jump. Crisp, Hales, and then Hennessy, I think it is. So we've got Crisp, Hales and Hennessy. Crisp in for the first, Hales in for the second, Hennessy in for the third placing. We come down the front straight. Rawson, slight advantage into the first corner. Rawson, Bloss and Dylan. David Comport still in there, still in touch with the field as they come down now. We've got Rawson down into Bayside Burn on his approach to Crow's Mountain. Ross on his back wheel across the top of Crow's Mountain, down the outside. Rawson did it beautifully as he comes down across the wheel. Oh, that was magnificent stuff. Down through the bottom sweeper, down in the dip jump. Well, he's even got time to tuck his head in. So he come down now, we've got Hennessy, yes, the shades of the over 26 class races. Glenn Rawson in for first, Brett Ross in for second, and Pat Dillon in for third. Well, I like that one.
Wasn't you, Paulie?
into the dip jump. It's still Nicole Bailey. Shelley Prince down the outside this time. Prince down the outside. Bailey and Prince. It's going Bailey may just prove strong enough to hold out Prince, and Kay Morton will be in for the third place. Right, and they're coming down now. We've got Spiteri in second spot, but Spiteri moving down the outside. So we've got number 109. I think he's another one of our South Australians in the 6th class race. So we've got Adam Bailey, it is 108, Spiteri in second spot, and I can see Dean Mitchell in there. So we've got Bailey, Spiteri and Mitchell down through Bayside Berm on approach to Coles Mountain. Bailey's across the top of the mountain safely. Spiteri and Mitchell are in there also. Down on the Lunar Lumps, we've still got Bailey out in front. Right, down through the bottom corner, down into the dip jump. It's all Bailey at this stage. Bailey down through the dip jump, Spiteri in the second spot, Mitchell in the third place. Down through the dip now, we've got Bailey out in front, Spiteri in the second, Mitchell in for the third. Big finish by Mitchell down the outside. We've got Spiteri, Mitchell. I think Mitchell may have got up. So it'll be Bailey in for the win. Mitchell out. We're away and racing in the 14 and 15 cruiser. Colin Flaherty, Craig Gibson, Craig Maloney. So they come down now, got Gibson out in front. I hope he stays on the machine for the entire race this time. We've got Gibson, Flaherty. Maloney's made a move up underneath Flaherty, so we've got Gibson, Maloney and Flaherty now. As they come down the Bayside, Flaherty's positioning himself extremely well through Bayside up over the top of Coles Mountain. We've still got Gibson out in front. A race between second and third at this stage. Flaherty slight advantage. Maloney pulling down the outside. Down into the bottom corner now, round down in the dip jump. Gibson's over the mat. Flaherty's got it on the boil down the back straight. We've got Gibson out in front. Flaherty, Maloney. Gibson, Flaherty and Maloney in that order. The starter's hands. Right, they're away and racing now as they come down the starting gate. You can see 11:47's young Tony Harvey is having a field day. Got Harvey out in front, Dixon in the second spot. So we've got Harvey out in front, Dixon in the second spot. I can see Colin Mitten battling it out for the third placing. So we've got Harvey out in front, followed by Dixon. Oh no. Right, we've got Harvey down over top across the top of Coles Mountain, down on his approach to the Lunar Lumps. We've got Harvey, Dixon putting in the big ones to come up beside Harvey at this stage. Harvey has a glance over his shoulder as they disappear behind the first berm down in the dip jump. Dixon's coming down the outside. We've got Harvey and Dixon as they sprint to the finish line across the two bumps there. Harvey's going to just prove to be a little bit stronger, and he'll take in the first place over Dixon. Right, in the starter's hands. Starting gate drops now, away and racing. Got a good start being made by Salisbury. I can see Pinckney's in there. Armstrong's in the second spot. So you got Salisbury, Armstrong, Pinckney this stage. Around the corner, God, David's still got those socks. So we've got Pinckney's coming up on the inside of Armstrong. We've got Salisbury out in front of God. I hope Armstrong doesn't get in front. He'll dazzle everybody with those socks. As we come down, we've still got Salisbury out in front. Armstrong in the second spot. Pinckney in the third place. Down across the top of the Lunar Lumps, it's still Salisbury at this stage. Armstrong and Pinckney. The other three riders tailing off a little bit at the moment now, so as we come down, we've still got Salisbury out in front, Armstrong and Pinckney. Pinckney's putting in a charge down the back straight now. As we come down, Salisbury's going to take it out. Pinckney will be in, Armstrong for the second, Pinckney for the third, and Billy Nelson and Jason Kroll. In the starter's hands. Starting gate drops now, away and racing. What a good start being made by Bailey again. Bailey on the inside, Nelson on the outside. They're coming down onto the first jump. It's 1 and 1. Into the bottom, Nelson slight advantage to the first corner. Bailey making a big move down the inside. Nelson quite got the power as they come across the tabletop. We've still got a slight advantage to Nelson down in the Bayside berm. Across the top of Coles Mountain, it's Nelson followed by Bailey. Kroll into there in for the third place. Down through the back straight across the Lunar Lumps, we've still got Nelson out in front, Bailey in the second spot, down in the dip jump. It's a good race as we come down. Bailey's coming on, he's putting on the pressure down the back straight. Got Nelson out in front, Bailey in the second spot, down across the things. Nelson will take out the first, Bailey in for the second, Kroll in for the third place, and Stuart Daglish in for the fourth. Richards, Stu Davies, and Grant Williams. Right, as they come down the starting hill now, you can see Jamie Hales, Crisp having a field day. We've got Crisp out in front, Hales in the second spot, Williams in there in the third place. So we've got Crisp down in front across the top of the tabletop. It's all Crisp. Hales making a move down the outside now. So we've got Crisp out in front, Hales on his back, all up over across the top of Coles Mountain. We've got Hales up on the inside, Crisp on the outside as they go across the Lunar Lumps. A magnificent piece of riding as he comes down there into the bottom corner. We've got Hales has taken over the lead, Crisp in the second spot. Down through the dip jump, sprint to the finish line. It's going to be Hales in for the first, Crisp in for the second, and Grant Williams will get in for the third. And racing, got a good start being made by Glenn Rawson, Hennessy and Ross as they come down there. Rawson out in front, Ross in the second spot, Hennessy up underneath. Hennessy trying to hold out Ross as they come down now. Rawson across the tabletop. Down into the Bayside corner, we've still got Rawson out in front. Ross in the second spot, Hennessy in the third. As they come down the approach to the Luna Lance, we've still got Rawson out in front. Cross the, it's good the way to do that. Round through the bottom corner, down into the dip jump now. We've still got Rawson out in front, followed by Brett Ross, Glenn Hennessy in the third place. Sprint to the finish line, it's going to be Glenn Rawson, Brett Ross, Hennessy, Dylan and Banfield. The starters' hands. Starting gate drops, they're away and racing as they come down. We've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in his in second spot. So we've got Salisbury and Dixon. This is the way the last heat started. We've got Dixon underneath Salisbury, Salisbury on the outside, Dixon on the inside. Across the top of the tabletop, we've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in the second place, through Bayside corner across the top of Crowes Mountain, and still Salisbury out in front, Dixon in the second spot. Down the approach to the Moon Lunch, we've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in the second spot, around through the bottom corner, down into the dip jump. As they come round now, we've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon behind him, Salisbury and Dixon. We've got Harvey coming in down the outside, so the boy won the last one. We've got Salisbury out in front, Harvey coming down like a freight train. Salisbury, Harvey and Dixon. Standing under the shadow of Phil Smith. Right, as they come down the starting hill now, you can see 518 there. David Flaherty's got quite a start as he comes down. Flaherty's in front there. Leon Smith in the second spot. So come down, and then we've got Kenyon back there in the third place. I can see Malani in there too. So we've got Flaherty out in front, followed by Smith, Flaherty, Smith and Kenyon at this stage. Across the top of Crowes Mountain, down on the Luna Lunch, we've still got Flaherty out in front, Smith in the second spot, Kenyon into the third place. Around down now through the bottom sweeper, down into the dip jump. It's all Flaherty at this stage. Oh, Flaherty, it's a one-horse event. We've got Flaherty out in front. And Kenyon's making a charge down the outside. We've got Smith and Kenyon battling out for second and third. Smith and Kenyon, I think Smith may have got up. Kenyon will be in for the third place combined. We've got Kevin Kelly, Phil Smith, Bevan Hanser, Alan Pawley and Chris Enion. I see down the road Smith's drawn two out from the inside. This will be a big psychological advantage. Right. Everybody's ready except Alan Pawley. Right. Right, now Lion Racing in the over 26 and 40 class. We come down, Phil Smith, Bevan Hanser. Smith got an immaculate start that time. We've got Phil Smith out in front, Bevan Hanser underneath Smith. No approach, Smith straight off. He's still got his nose in front. We've got Smith slight advantage. Round Bayside, down across the top of Crowes Mountain. We've got Smith out in front, Hanser in the second spot. Paulie back there in the third, and I can see Kevin Kelly charging down the back of the field to try and take over that third placing. Round now down through the dip jump, it's going to be Smith, followed by Hanser. Hanser down the outside, Paulie's putting in a late charge down the outside. We've got Smith out in front, Hanser, Paulie, Smith, Hanser and Paulie. Kevin Kelly in for the fourth. And Chris Jason Barnard, Troy Kelly, Craig Lucas and Anthony Mayer. In the starters' hands. Right, now Lion Racing as they come down the starting hill, I can see Craig Lucas out in front, Troy Kelly there, 3-5-1. Anthony Mayer's in there also. So we've got Lucas, Kelly and Mayer at this stage. Across the top of the tabletop, we've got Lucas out in front, Kelly, Mayer making a move up on the inside of Kelly. Lucas out in front, Kelly and Mayer as they come down across the top of Crowes Mountain, down the back straight and approach the Luna Lunch. It's still all Lucas out in front, Kelly in the second spot, Mayer in the third place. And then down to the sweeper down in the dip jump, we've still got Lucas out in front, Kelly in the second spot, Mayer into the third place. As they come down the finish straight now onto the finish line, it's going to be Lucas in for the first, Kelly second, Mayer third. Farther's hands for the 14 class. I see a good start being made by Derek Morton in there. Flaherty's in there also, so we've got Morton and Flaherty and Craig Malani. As they come up, Morton's got a charge. He's put a few lengths on the field across the tabletop. We've got Morton out in front, Flaherty in the second spot, and Craig Maloney in the third place. So as we come down there, we've got Morton on his approach to the Luna Lunch. We've got Morton out in front, Flaherty in the second spot, Maloney into the third as they come down through the bottom sweeper. It's still all Morton. Flaherty's putting on some pressure as they come down now into the dip jump. Down across the two doubles as they come down to the finish line. It's going to be Morton in for the first, Flaherty in for the second, Maloney in for the third place. And in Gibson, all we're going to do is get Craig to stay on his bike. Right, in the starter's hands. Starting gate drops there, away and racing. Good start being made by Minion. As he comes down, Minion over Gibson at this stage. Down in the bottom corner, we've got Minion, Gibson up on the outside. Minion down now on the approach to the tabletop. Gibson up on the inside as he comes up. Pulls in Minion a little bit, round through the Bayside on the approach to Crowes Mountain. We've still got Minion out in front, Gibson in the second spot. So, young David Potts has tapered off a little bit back there in the third place. So down through the bottom sweep, it's all Minion this time, Gibson. And Potts are putting in some big ones round the back straight now as he comes down to the finish line. They've got Minion in for the first, Gibson in for the second, and Plotzer in for the third place. We've got a few scratchings in this. Right, as they come down, we've got Pauline Williams and Brendan Spur, another one of our South Australians, I think. So we've got Spur out in front at this stage, Williams on the inside, Spur on the outside. Spur takes Pauline around the berm up on the approach to the tabletop. We've still got Spur out in front, Pauline Williams in second place. Around through Bayside down on their approach to Coles Mountain. Still Spur out in front, followed by Williams as they come down across the Luna line. So we've got Spur a mile out in front, mucked up the last one a little bit. We come down now through the bottom corner, down the dip jump. It's still all Spur, followed by Williams as they come down. Spur's going to prove to be too strong for his female opponent. Right, as we're weighing racing in the open 20-inch class, I can see Glenn Withers, Jason Richards and Ray Griner. Jason Richards and Glenn Withers. Ray Griner's making all sorts of creaks and groans as he comes up on his approach to the tabletop. So we've got Richards out in front, Withers in the second spot. Withers underneath Richards at this stage as they come down now. We've got Richards followed by Withers. Withers on the inside of Richards across the top of the lunar lumps. It looks like it's going to be an interesting tussle through the bottom corner. Got Richards out in front, Withers on the inside, Richards on the outside. Ray Grimer's going for a sleep. So as we come down now on our approach to the finish line, it's going to be Richards in for the first, Grimer in for the second. Hennessy and Brett Ross. Right, now weighing racing, immaculate start being made by Glenn Hennessy this time. We've got Chris got a slight advantage, Ross and Hennessy as they come down now. We've got Hennessy, Ross, Chris out in front. Now Leo Vitta Comports up into the third place on their approach to the tabletop. So we've got Chris out in front, Hennessy and Comport at this stage across the top of Coles Mountain, down there, sprint down the back straight. As we come down, it's all Crispin at this stage, followed by Hennessy. So we've got Crispin, Hennessy at this stage, down through the back straight there. We've got Crispin out in front, Hennessy. We've got number 4 there, Stuart, it's not Stuart Davies, it's Kennedy